Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we are taking another cheeky look at Reef Finance, and specifically, will it 100x? So Chris, 100x Reef, what do you think? We potentially could see, in my opinion anyway, somewhere between 10 and 100, but where do you sit?
Uh, you know, I kind of feel like 100 is possible for this. It is going to be an absolute mammoth in this space, in my opinion. But I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe half of that. Yeah, I mean maybe 50. But 100 is possible. I just kind of feel like I like to lean on the side of caution, right? You know me.
Yeah, absolutely. So 100x is from its current position potentially quite a lot. But 100x from a little while ago, not so much. So, it's definitely depending on when you're thinking of the 100x could have started, whenever you started your investment, or if you're thinking about it from today. 100, I think 100x is definitely the top end of things. But obviously, refinance is an absolute powerhouse of DeFi, right? And basically, all of that liquidity and protocol aggregation on the Polkadot network is big. It's not a small thing by any stretch of the imagination. The parachains and all that kind of stuff going on, it's going to be really interesting. So let's jump on over to the desktop, Chris, and see exactly what is going on here with refinance and whether we're going to see, Reef 100x. We'll get into some numbers and see what's going on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. So, refinance, right? For those who do not know, we did a video on this. Now, what is Reef and would we invest? And basically, after doing our little kind of scuba dive, if you will, not a full deep dive, but a scuba dive on it, we did actually, invest in the project. We have put our own money into Reef Finance, and we do think there's a lot of potential here. The project itself is all about, the gateway to DeFi through liquidity and protocol aggregation. It's got a lot of fantastic things that actually run in the background. So I'm not going to go into that in this video, but do check out the video that we put out a couple of days ago with regards to that, because if you want to know a little bit more about what's going on here with Refinance and what makes it so special, do check that video out. But today, Chris, we're going to talk about the price of the Reef token, and we're going to get into some of the price prediction side of things, and can we see 100x actually happen for the Reef token. So let's just pull up coin market cap for Reef to start with, and here we can see that it's currently trading at 4.2 cents. Okay, which is about the level that we actually got in, because we got in when we did the video, which I'm going to say must have been around the 13th or something like that, Chris. Must have been the weekend. So we probably got in at about 4.8, maybe it was the Sunday at 4.7. So we've actually seen a bit of a dip ourselves, and made a small loss, if you will. But nonetheless, it doesn't bother us because this thing has such huge potential. But as it stands, it's 4.2 cents. It has a market cap, Chris, of $126 million. Okay. And it has a trading volume of $175 million in the last 24 hours as well. But the circulating supply has been a hot topic recently. It currently has a circulating supply of 3 billion tokens. 500 million was released unexpectedly on people the other day, Chris, and people were then calling refinance a bit of a scam, blah blah blah. But we did do a video 12 hours ago and kind of explaining what was going on there, and hopefully that helps answers those questions, because we do not believe that refinance is a scam in any way, shape or form. But obviously there is a maximum supply of 20 billion tokens here for Reef Finance. Now, there is obviously one caveat to that. There is a long-term, very small and mild inflationary model that goes along with that 20 billion tokens. And that's just designed to help pay validator rewards for their contribution to the decentralization of the network. So it's a very important thing that happens there. You do need to have some kind of reward system set up for your validators, and that's mainly going to be driven out of that inflationary model. So a very, very minor inflation. So otherwise, we just consider that 20 billion for now, okay, considering we are not anywhere near that distribution. There is also a schedule for that distribution of those tokens, and the refinance team will be keeping everyone up to date going forward. Admittedly, they potentially should have notified people earlier with the 500 million that were distributed. But nonetheless, they intend to do that going forward. So we can see, obviously, it's a relatively new project. It's come out, since I think it was December, and obviously we're in the late February, so it's only a few months old at this point. We can see some of the fantastic things that are going on. I'm just going to expand this down. We'll show you that all-time high was the 11th of February 2021, and that was 5.4 cents. Okay, and since then we're 23% down. The all-time low, if you were fantastic enough to get this in at an absolute bargain, Chris, of 13th of January, it was 0.006 of a cent. So you could have been seeing significant gains. And absolutely, at that point there, 100x would have been really simple. But we're going to be talking about 100x from today's value, and that's a slightly different story. So we're going to get into that in a moment as well. So we obviously, when we talk about Reef Finance, we're talking about some of the fantastic things that it's offering in terms of sourcing that liquidity and the yield farming and all that kind of good stuff. It's the exchanges. So with that, you obviously have to then compare things like Uniswap. Okay, so in terms of what Uniswap is doing, they're obviously, I think everyone's quite familiar with Uniswap. I'm not going to go into that detail, but they obviously run on the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, whereas Reef Finance runs on the Polkadot system. Okay, and that's a really important thing that we have to have as a takeaway here. As Ethereum and Ether prices increases, that ultimately the gas fees are getting ridiculously difficult to, actually start utilizing some of these apps built on Ethereum. So Uniswap, may even decide to leave, the Ethereum blockchain in the future. So there's a good thing here happening with people maybe actually looking for an alternative to Uniswap just because those fees are too high. But of course, Uniswap is not the only one that we should be looking at, because there's also SushiSwap, not that I can say the word. And again, all of these do the similar kind of thing. It's all around the DeFi, yield farming, blah, 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 and all of that good stuff. So it's important that we take a look at some of these and gain some understanding. Obviously, these are much higher valued, but that's because they have a much lower circulating supply and also a much lower maximum supply. So for SushiSwap, it's a 250 million maximum supply, whereas Uniswap has a 1 billion token as a maximum supply. So obviously the prices are going to be vastly different. But also on that regard, we can see that a market cap of Uniswap is at 6.4 billion and SushiSwap is 2 billion. So reasonable size market caps are not amazing, but they're reasonable. Okay, and we can look at some of these other projects. We can see they go into very, very high numbers in terms of billions during a market, a bull market, right, Chris? So we can see things going into hundreds of billions at their absolute peak. XRP is a key example of this, as is Stellar XLM, to name just a few. So, we do expect a lot of money to be flowing in. And if you can have the right kind of project on the right kind of network at the right time, things can line up very nicely. And I think that's where Reef really fits in. So currently with a $126 million market cap, it has a lot of room to the upside. But with that being said, in order to take this 100x, Chris, from the 4.2 cents that it currently is today, we're talking about a $12 billion market cap. Now, that is very possible at the peak of a bull run, but not right at this particular moment in time, where we can see things like Uniswap only being on 6 billion. But we do expect these things to grow quite nicely and dramatically, and also very sharply. They'll rise and fall. So we can see Reef potentially doing 100x at the peak of a bull cycle. So it's by no stretch of the imagination impossible, but you do have to be, taking it with a bit of a pinch of salt, don't we, Chris?
Yeah, definitely, Nick.
Now, of course, with Chris is saying, yeah, we might actually see a 50x. I think that's incredibly likely. We could see a 50x quite comfortably. It's only $6 billion coming in. And during a bull cycle, that's a very, very easy to do. So we could probably potentially see a 50x really comfortably here for the Reef token and Reef Finance. So I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to say that I think we're going to end up somewhere between 50 and 100x on the current position. Mainly because, this is a bull cycle that we're in, and we're about, 30% of the way through, I'd say, Chris. Slightly, deviating off a little bit, but we've got a lot of room to the upside. So I think the potential here is absolutely vast. Anything you want to leave the guys with, Chris?
No, just it's an absolutely massive opportunity, in my opinion. You should go do your own research on this particular project. And when I say research, I mean go over to the Reef website, look up the team, find out a little bit about them on platforms such as LinkedIn, look at their history, look at the white paper, digest it. I don't mean go on YouTube and listen to other YouTubers and see what they're saying, or to Twitter or Facebook. Go do some proper research, look at it, spend some time and make sure that it's the right investment for you. And we kind of say this with every investment, don't we, Nick? It's really important.
It is very important, and you're right to bring it up, Chris, because whilst we can give you our opinions and our thoughts on these things, ultimately the decision is yours, and you obviously have to make make that decision yourself based on your own research. So we do highly recommend checking out and finding as much information as you can on the project. A good starting point might be our video, but obviously do not leave it there. Continue on with that research and dig a lot deeper. When we do our videos on specific projects, we leave out little nuggets and we say, go and research this aspect of it. And we did the same thing for the Reef Finance project when we reviewed that. So it's important that you do your own research and come to the same, or come to a conclusion, and hopefully it's the same conclusion that we came up to as well. But definitely do your own research. We are by no stretch of the imagination financial investors, financial advisors. So do
we are investors.
We are investors. We are investors. Yeah. So yes, absolutely. Do go ahead and do your own research. So guys, hopefully you found this video useful and informative. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really does appreciate it, as do I. And if by chance you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, then do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with all the various videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all this said and done, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.